So today we're going to be taking a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. In the last episode we saw quite a few events happen that just need nuclear numbers to get greatly updated. The South Africans had a revolution and yeah, they're like a dictatorship or monarchy now. We saw the country over here get partitioned and majorly, well, there was a major war down here in this part of the Mediterranean Sea. Or I guess more so the Black Sea or Anatolia, whatever you want to call it. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and yeah, let's just get straight into it. Now a quick point I want to make before I start with this video, I did change a lot of the colours around. Most of the countries in such as Africa, you know, we have sort of in North America, other things down in like Oceania and stuff like that, they are all under different colours now. And I want to say nothing changed about these countries, I just changed colours, so yeah. Don't ask where I got the colours from, because they are very similar to another YouTuber, but they just make really good colours, so, you know, that's fine. But anyway, enough of that, let's get into the video. Oh, and also I did change the watercolour back to light, because I think it just looks better at this point. I didn't like the dark watercolour as much anymore. We're going to be starting with the nuclear numbers today, as, like I said in the last episode, these guys haven't been given any more nukes to their allies. They're basically just staying off that, and yeah, they all just completely do this, and we'll see some new nuclear numbers. Sweden will go for 110, all the way up to 243 and 18 of the territories, but this is a huge jump, as by this point these two have mastered making nuclear bombs, so you can do this very quickly and very efficiently. So let's move down to the Dark Red Union, who will go up from 99, all the way up to 211. So yeah, these guys are really quickly making nuclear bombs, and in the next few episodes we could see a lot more being created. And another thing I've done is make a stability, I also made a technology layer, I even made a corruption layer, and also a population layer. So you can better grasp the population of all these countries, as well as the corruption, the technology, stability, and therefore, you know, everything else. So yeah, that's a quick note. And I actually forgot about Egypt in the nuclear ranking, so let's take a look at that now. Egypt will go from 2 all the way up to 9. So yeah, the Egyptians are definitely doing a lot better in rankings at the minute. Anyway, sticking to Egypt, they're going to be adding another country to their alliance, and that's going to be none other than the Grey Saharan country down here. These guys, they are a communist nation. They became communist once the old government collapsed, and they'll be joining the Communist Alliance, and this alliance is now very strong, and they work very closely with the Triangle Alliance, which, looking at them, there's obviously Crete down here, but the Lime Turkish country has been influenced to turn it into the communist. Anatolia, they already had a socialist government win the election in the last video, so yeah, I'm just going to turn to this. They used to be a constitutional monarchy, but I'm just going to say they're socialist now. And communism is rapidly spreading, and a lot faster than fascism, because this is a lot less brutal than fascism. Like, the world definitely respects communism more, because Neo-Persia, they went really far with expansion in just a few, like, decades. Egypt is taking it slower, they're not really expanding. They've even issued that they don't want to expand anymore, because they've taken back all the lands that they really want. The only lands that they could want is like over here in the red team, like all these, like the lands that they basically used to have, so like all of this, because they are very set on bringing back the past. But anyway, let's move away from Africa, and we're going to go down to Asia here, as the final fascist country will fall. These guys are the old Burmese government, and they've been camping out here for a few like years now. It's been about like probably 12 years since the Neo-Persian War. We are in the year 1962 at the minute, so yeah, it's been about 12 years since that ended. And these guys, yeah, they've just been camping out here, and with satellites now they've officially found out that this is definitely a place that Neo-Persian old government is camping out. So we have the Indians making a landing over here, and they will fully take out this area, officially ending the government of Indonesia. No, officially ending the government of Burma. In this peace deal, they won't actually be going back to the old Burma, because they're not really allowed to expand. They'll just be going over to India, and they gain themselves these islands over here. So yeah, Burman country, officially dead, they don't exist anymore. Anyway, focusing down on this kind of Andelusian country, we can see that the stability is really bad, and they're going to be turning from an orange stability into a red stability, which means they kind of like really cooked. And eventually they turn into a dark red stability, which means they're in an active kind of civil war and stuff like that. And with this happening, the countries around them are going to see a chance to expand, and they're going to take it. As first, we have the Spanish countries expanding over here. The Moroccans will also expand down in the south and take over some of this land. Portugal will be getting the capital area quite quickly and push into the country like quick, you know, this is a very quick process, and actually it'll be completely carved up between these three. And we can take a look at a peace deal. In this peace treaty, we see this land here go to Morocco, which I'm going to fix the border because it sucks. So in this peace deal here, this country will be fully divided between all these powers. Morocco will get probably the most valuable land in the south. We then have the Portuguese getting the capital area, so yeah, that's always nice. And the Spanish will get the rest of the least valuable stuff. So yeah, unfortunately for that Andelusian country, they're officially dead now, but hey, let's move on to something else. And that's going to be Albania, who doesn't have good stability as of the last episode. They are really kind of fallen off, and what they're going to do is give independence to an old country, in fact 2 old countries, that were around this region originally. Officially, the green thrice country and the gold country over here will be coming back. After the war, these areas most wanted to break away, so they will be getting their independence. And Albania, yeah, they're kind of struggling at the minute, but hopefully now they've done this, they'll be able to get back on a foot. And yeah, we move away from Albania now. And that's going to be to this Californian country over here. These guys are going to not stay as a democracy. They already actually for democracy, I don't know why, but they're going to be going to a dictatorship. And the Canadian Union aren't going to like this, but they're not going to do anything yet. That's until this country doesn't really stay as a dictatorship, and it'll go to a different ideology. And this country will be run by a sort of group. It's kind of like Mexico, how they're like sort of run by the cartel in a way, or the northern parts at least are run by the cartel. It's kind of happening here, but a different organisation is taking place, and they're going to start doing a lot of bad things inside of this Canadian country. And yeah, the organisation in this country is very strong, and the Canadian country isn't going to like it, so they're not going to do anything at the minute, but they'll basically say, hey, if you do anything else to us or any of the countries that surround us, we're going to declare war on you. But then Florida's going to be like, if you declare war on them, then we'll declare war on you, which I'll get Square Alliance involved, and if Square Alliance gets involved, then the Star Alliance could get involved, which will start World War 3, which is not really what we want at the minute. I wouldn't say so. Anyway, we stay in the American area as we have a economical alliance actually being formed. As the Floridians will be forming the Right Triangle Economical Alliance. That will be between this southern Mexican country here. They'll also be getting the red Mexican country. And a big one, they'll be getting Brazil to join in on this alliance. So, yeah, you can see that this alliance is mainly based in the Americas, and the Floridians have just made a pretty big alliance, so cool. But that's not going to be all for economical alliance, as we're going to see economical alliance be made in Western Europe. As the Dark Red Union will be making the Hexagon Alliance, just like this. And I'll be getting who you expect to join. They'll have this Spanish country over here joining. Italy will also be joining in on this economical alliance. Hungary, another nation, they will join on this alliance. And there's kind of a catch in this alliance, like you kind of have to be in Europe to be in this alliance, so yeah. Wales will refrain from joining for now, but they will get this southern French country down here, and they'll also be getting the brown Swiss country. So yeah, the Economic Alliance of Western Europe, I guess, has been formed. So well, it's more Eastern Europe as well, because Hungary's in it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Sweden won't be creating their own Economic Alliance because they're more focused on their military. They have a very strong military in this timeline. And yeah, well, let's focus down on Ukraine now, as they're going to be having a civil war. A few episodes ago, Ukraine did have a sort of, what do you call it? They declared war on Romania, but then backfiring, and then a load of countries got involved, and kind of really backfired on them, and they lost a lot of land from it. Here, though, it's not going to be any better, as we're going to have a civil war starting. After all, these regions right here will be breaking away, and I want to talk about the sides a little bit, because there's not really, I mean, this is a pretty big proxy war, as the Dark Red Union will be starting to support this side here. However, Anatolia, who does occupy the Bosphorus Strait, they're not going to be letting the Dark Red Union through this area, so they're instead going to have to do something a little bit weird. They can get planes through, but they can get shot down over the country's airspace, so they're going to have to basically say to Croatia, hey, we need to get access to your country, and if you don't give us that, then we're going to invade you, and we're just going to use your country as access anyway. We should be like, okay man, we accept, fine, just go to us. So they'll now have access to this country, they can supply it through Hungary, while Russia already borders this rebellion, so they can easily support it like that. Anyway, let's let the war begin. The rebellion instantly cutting off Crimea from the rest of the country, and they'll move up around this area. However, the Ukrainians are a lot more strong in this area, they have a lot more support. As you can see, the west is mainly where it broke away. So they'll be able to kind of push back against the rebellion in this region over here, also with a lot of Dark Red Union support. You see a big thing happening as Caspian will start to support the old Ukrainian government, because this is a different government that originally kind of broke away from Ukraine, because originally they were really bad, the old government, but now they have a slightly better government. So yeah, and I also think I'm going to do power rankings after this war, because I need to do them. They updated a lot since the last time I did them. But anyway, the Ukrainian rebellion will be able to just push over in this area, getting over to the region of Hungary, which Hungary will then start to occupy. The Ukrainians will be able to fully actually push out this entire area here, and they'll then move down into this region, start pushing to that, and with a lot of help from the Dark Union, they're able to reconnect to Crimea and start pushing up in this Ukrainian area, even fully taking out this. I'll then continue the push, and the rebellion is basically exiled to the east, however, not west, and but then a flow of Swedish and other country support across the world will start to come in. Even the communist countries start to support the blue version, and we have them managing to push back against Ukraine quite a lot, and they'll get to this point where they can basically do this. They'll even push down into here and cut off Ukraine once again from Crimea. In fact, no, they'll have to also raid over into here and completely cut off Ukraine from Crimea, in which they will start to invade down into Crimea. However, this is where the Dark Union is more prevalent, so they'll be able to get pushed out, and eventually after a few years this war will basically just end in a stalemate, and we'll have new borders drawn up in Ukraine. So let's take a look at them. So this is what we end up seeing here, as this Moldovanish country will get their independence, and Ukraine will be heavily nerfed in this western area here. Ukraine probably does get a decent peace treaty. They don't lose as much land as they lost. In the occupation, these guys had a lot more land, but they didn't get as much in the peace treaty because the Dark Union was holding them back. But anyway, we see these guys actually turn into a monarchy, and these guys will stay as a democracy. And I think you can guess what's going to happen here. Pretty much instantly after this war, the Ukrainians will join the Square Alliance, and the Moldovans will be joining up with the Star Alliance. But yeah, that's cool. And finally, I think I'm going to do some power rankings. So currently, the strongest country in the world is the Dark Red Union. This is because they are, they are the biggest influence in the world. They influence a lot of the countries, such as Sweden. Oh, no, definitely not. Oh my god. They influence many countries in the world that democracies. So yeah, that's pretty cool, the Dark Red Union. And then number 2, very close behind at this point, is going to be Sweden. Sweden, they are the leader of the monarchies and kind of, maybe dictatorships, but they more have influence over monarchies, so they won't really influence the dictatorships. Then we have a kind of big gap down here. There's a huge gap, a lot, which is going to lead to number 3, which the third strongest country in the world at the minute is Arabia. The 4th is then going to be actually Shandong. 5th is going to be Egypt. They have honestly built up a communist bloc down here in Africa and also some parts of southern Europe, so they are a really strong country and really influential across the entire world. 6th is where it gets slightly harder, but I would say number 6 would probably be the Canadian Union. 7 then, which is just behind, would be Florida. These two obviously have really bad relations over the last few episodes, because Florida and the Canadian Union have been Canadian Union has been really passing up Florida, so that's kind of why the relations are really bad. We then have another pretty big gap, which is going to be Korea now. Korea, they are in alliance with Japan, and the alliance kind of works really weird. It kind of works like they're one pretty big country. They basically have the same values, they have the same sort of thing. They're both dictatorships, and they kind of act as one country as a whole, so you could just call this Korea Japan, but it's not really. Moving on to number 9, it's actually going to be the Indian Union. These guys, they have gained a lot of land. They are a massive population. Their population is probably around the 700 million-ish mark. They are the second most populated country in the world. Number 1 is Shandong. They have over 1 billion population. These guys are not coming up close, but they're rapidly gaining population, kind of like how India did in real life. And then finally, at number 10, we have the Anatolians. Anatolia in the recent episodes has had a comeback. They used to be a massive empire, obviously, like we saw. They were huge, but they've made a comeback in the last few episodes. They were reduced a lot and finally came back. And yeah, these guys have gained a lot more population since they won that war against Albania, and they also have influence over the southern Turkish country here. So yeah, these are the top 10 power rankings in the world, and that's going to be where I end off today's video. Thanks guys so much for watching today's video, I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I did, definitely. Trust me, in the next few episodes, a lot more things are going to happen because we are approaching very close to the end of the Cold War. But anyway, that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.